Hi. A couple of people said it a couple of times, but I really engrossed in my work here, and I really don't have time to do things that I should do. Anyway, I back. I don't know how long it's been since I mentioned the accountant film, but I said something about the accountant film and how it was first produced. Okay, when it first came out, it was all jumbled up. The scenes were all in different. They didn't match up. And I said something about it and said I thank um, Ben. Ben, I thank Ben for doing the film and doing that way, doing the film that way because it was very damaging to his um, career to have a movie show up like that. But the point was that we are in we don't have the direction for whatever it is that's going to be in that test in our God, and that's the intestine. Okay, intestine is the test in our God. It's something in the test of our God. Okay, in our God, whatever. Okay, so there's the accountant film. There's the people that are saying they're fed up. People, the people we're talking about are the people that said they're fed up with the industry. They're not going to work. They're not going to do anything. The the end is here for whatever it is they were doing that they're not happy with. Okay, and of course, when you say something um, as a um, professional performer, when you say something, you're a target. No matter what you say, you're going to get something somewhere because you're just too much of a um, I don't know what word we used, and I don't have a thesaurus right now. So I'll say some kind or type of a leader that doesn't actually lead, but performs uh, of, by, or for examples. Okay? Um, but relating that to what I was going to say is the cruise ships that I asked both Donald Trump and Joe Biden to board after the election was over, the last one in 2020. I asked them to board cruise ships and leave the office of president open because it's always a target, and they would have whatever people that were with them or are related to them, or however they wanted that situation to work out, they could work it out at sea, and all those people could supposedly be safe at sea on a cruise ship, and they could still have their influence on the internet the way they do without getting, uh, use the internet. You don't have to walk over and say, tap somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, could you film me for television or film me for the internet? Because television is supposed to be dead because it was too much of a monopoly. But what was I saying? I asked them to get on the cruise ships as they are celebrities. They are uh, those professional performers that perform something in some way that is people understand what they're doing, okay? And that's that intestine again. But and I told you that was not Pinhead. It's not Pinhead. It's the doctor in the Hellraiser films, and he's got an intestine that comes down on his head, and it's supposedly some kind of directing thing from wherever that came from. You don't get to see where it came from, I don't think, but I'm not sure. You might want to watch the movie and see what's going on there. But what I was wanting them to do, or the relationship to the clip that I just put in there, and I'm going to position it before this one so that I can explain. But it's the accountant film clip. It's a trailer for the movie, okay? And since I got in there and talked about it, they fixed it. They fixed the movie, and as soon as I thought of it and was going to put it in there, somebody said, "Uh-oh, they changed that movie. You can't make sure you see this. They changed the movie." I says, "Okay, all right, whatever. I'll fix that." Okay, so I'm fixing that with this video to try to explain to you what you should figure out on yourself, so I don't have more work to do in explaining, because all I can do is talk to people, and I finally have that opportunity to be able to get 10 views on my videos. So yeah, I'm a laughing guy. I don't laugh too often. I'm a very serious person. I'm very serious at what I'm doing. And when I was young, I did get involved with comedy, and I did pretty good at it. I don't know how well. The reason I got involved with that was because of women. I wanted to get involved with women, and I didn't know any other way other than to be appealing in certain different ways. And so that's how I got involved in that. And it started out early in life, but once I got to about 22 or 23 and I understood the situation, I dropped it. So I don't know what Rusty is doing as the mayors or the county commission or the state legislature of whoever's involved in that Pittsburgh Congress. But whatever you're seeing there is not, whatever you're doing there, that is not me. I have come up with my own way of Scientology, the mathematical values, the Christian science of mathematical values, and I have a composition of composure, which I cannot do right now because there's a war over there in Eastern Europe, and because we had that taken apart and it wasn't supposed to be controlling me anymore, as I was a free and independent homeless man with liberty to say what I wanted and do what I wanted on my own 20 views per video YouTube channel, and somehow I got controlled by that SALT II treaty from 50 years ago, and I can't do my composition of composure because there's a war in the world. And of course, that was 50 years ago, and a lot of people know what's going on there. They know about that treaty, and what happens when there's a war in the world, especially in the Department of Defense or the Pentagon or Pittsburgh City Council, Department of, what is it, Human Resources, the human resources of the government there. But getting back to what I was saying about Donald Trump and Joe Biden going on to cruise ships, that would be a franchise type situation, franchise organization. I told models about this, models somewhere in the world, I don't know where they were, but it's a assisted living facility where you could get Social Security benefits to purchase a cabin on a cruise ship from qpsships.com, and you would take the overall price of the ship and divide it by the number of cabins, and you would figure out the price of each cabin, and then try to get as many people who were of your own kind on that cruise ship, and that's how you would pay for it. And I have been quashed by whatever government is controlling the family here in Jeanette and surrounding areas. I have been quashed from explaining this process to both Joe Biden and Donald Trump so that they could get a cruise ship pretty easily from qpsships.com. And then there's all kinds of different reasons and different people and different interests involved in a situation like that, but it's all right there. There it is. And it was a assisted living facility as a condo cruise ship that you would purchase from qpsships.com, and of course you could have all of that the ship to cut down your costs. You could go to an electric propelled ship, and I was explaining that in videos, and they're on there. They're on YouTube from 2020 and 2021, where I was explaining how you convert those old ships into, you get rid of the gas, you get rid of diesel, whatever they're fueled by, you take out the old engines and you replace them with electric and transformers and generators that are electrically powered generator, an electric generator instead of gas powered. That's been the coyest, most secret trick that that they could come up with for years, and it's just a trick. You don't have to power your generator with gasoline. You don't have to power it with diesel. You don't have to use propane. You can use electric to power your electric generator, and nobody could ever really understand that you could do that. But anyway, what I was talking about was a franchise government at sea that wouldn't have any problems with anybody if the only way they could communicate, or the only way they did communicate, was through the internet, and they didn't have to worry about any bills to pay, as everything would be paid by with their government benefits. Okay? So that was a franchise government, and we're talking about celebrities in government at whatever capacity. Because that office was open, we could say, who's the president? Well, we don't know who the president is, and as a matter of fact, that was all part of Dayton, which they have violated, and it's governed. The enforcement of the law is governed, of course, by the Supreme Court of the United States. And there's only 9 of those people, and there's like over 1,000 congressmen in Washington, not to mention the press and the ambassadors and the city council, the garbage collectors, the sewage department, and all the other funny stuff that isn't that funny when you're in government. So that's what I wanted to explain, was the franchise organization and the accountant film, and it's being indifferent, in being all not fitting with the scenes, okay, and the government.